The new school year kicks off, and right away, a few seniors notice first-year student Iwashimizu, a massive boy whose sheer size could intimidate anyone. But despite his frame, his shy, awkward demeanor makes it obvious he's actually a gentle coward, which instantly turns him into an easy target. They start picking on him for laughs. Then their attention shifts to another first year, a tiny kid named Gion, so short he barely reaches their shoulders. When they start mocking his height, he suddenly snaps, lunges forward, and takes every one of them down in seconds. Watching in disbelief, Iwashimizu freezes, terrified the bullies might turn on him next, and hurriedly pulls Gion away, stammering out thanks for the save. But Gion brushes him off coldly, saying he only fought back because of their cheap insults, not to protect anyone. As they walk, the two exchange names. Gion admits he can't stand useless upperclassmen who act superior, while short guys like him get treated like kids. Not long after, Iwashimizu's old friend Hakioji shows up, slaps him on the back, and cheerfully welcomes him to school. He invites both of them to watch his rugby team's practice match. Curious, Gion, who knows nothing about rugby, tags along. Hakioji explains that in rugby, anyone, big or small, can shine if they've got heart. As practice begins, Iwashimizu excitedly explains the rules, reminiscing about how teams once begged him to join just for his size. Gion laughs at the idea that size doesn't matter, but deep down, he starts to think maybe this is his chance to prove himself. After the match, Gion boldly decides to join the team, while Iwashimizu quietly declines and walks away. The next day, recruitment continues. Gion shows up eager to meet the strongest player, the captain, Sekizun. When Sekizun jokingly calls him Shorty, Gion instantly loses it and attacks. Sekizun blocks his punch with ease, scolding him like a child. Later that day, Gion storms into Iwashimizu's book club, drags him out, tosses him a tackle bag, and charges at him full speed. Iwashimizu dodges at the last second, panicking. Gion demands he hit back, but when he refuses, Gion mocks him, saying he knows about the middle school accident, how Iwashimizu injured his friend Miyuki during a tackle, and that he's not weak like Miyuki was. That's when the rage finally explodes. Iwashimizu slams Gion to the ground, but Gion only laughs, shouting how awesome rugby is. The next day, the team officially welcomes their new members. Hakioji starts coaching them, but Gion keeps yelling for a real challenge. Annoyed, Sekizun agrees to face him. Gion charges like a wild animal, and Sekizun swats him aside without effort. Gion tries again and fails again. Sekizun sighs and makes a deal. If Gion can complete a brutal drill, he'll earn 5 chances to tackle him. Fired up, Gion accepts. He's told to crawl across the field, clutching the ball between his knees like a turtle, over and over until practice ends. Everyone laughs, but he doesn't stop. He keeps at it for hours, trembling, sweating, refusing to quit. Day after day, he repeats the drill, studying the veterans' every move, learning how they tackle. Eventually, he asks Iwashimizu to train with him so he can figure out how to take Sekizun down. Weeks pass. Then one afternoon, during another practice match, Gion faces Sekizun again. He's thrown again and again, but he won't give up. Finally, he uses everything he's learned, drops his weight under Sekizun's knees, twists, and flips the captain clean over his shoulder. The field goes silent. Everyone stares, stunned. Even Yumino, the team manager, rushes over to splash water on Gion's face as he laughs, completely drained. The next day, Sekizun announces their biggest test yet, a practice match against Keijo High, one of Kanagawa's top 4 teams, the same one that crushed them before. The locker room fills with nervous whispers. During prep, Yumino breaks down the team formation, while another player, Ibumi, mocks Gion for taking the same winger spot as him, and a loud argument breaks out. Meanwhile, Iwashimizu quietly dreads the match. His old friend Miyuki plays for Keijo. Game day arrives. At the gate, the vice-captain greets them but mistakes Sekizun for Hakioji, earning a few awkward laughs. Sekizun announces the starting lineup, shocking everyone by benching Gion and choosing Iwashimizu instead. Furious, Gion demands to know why, but Miyuki, now serious, tells him to calm down. He hasn't yet seen what Iwashimizu can really do. The whistle blows. From the sidelines, Gion and Yumino watch as both teams immediately single out Iwashimizu as the weak link. Then Miyuki grabs the ball and charges straight for him. In that moment, Iwashimizu flashes back to the accident, the tackle that injured Miyuki years ago, and he freezes. Miyuki yells for him to get off the field if he's not going to take the game seriously. From the bench, Gion screams, "Fight back!" and something inside Iwashimizu finally awakens. He plants his feet, pushes forward, and stops Miyuki just inches before the goal. The crowd explodes. From that instant, everything shifts. Iwashimizu starts charging like a monster, plowing through defenders, scoring again and again, roaring louder with every hit. Even when Kaiju High's powerhouse players strike back, he refuses to go down. Mutters that it's unfair. Kaiju is a private school with elite, hand-picked athletes and limitless resources. But this time, the one who breaks their rhythm isn't Iwashimizu. It's Seikaisen himself, stepping up as captain to prove that heart, courage, and teamwork can rival any strength born from privilege. As the match heats up, Taira launches forward with everything he's got. While tackling, memories flood back of that one match years ago when Kaiju faced a young Saizen and his old team. Even after losing, Saizen had stayed on the field alone, training for another full hour. From that day, Taira gained deep respect for him. A senior on the bench remarks that no one trains harder than Seikazen, but reminds them that rugby isn't a one-man sport. 15 players must fight together if they truly want victory. Uhiro stands and declares it's time to shift the game's momentum. The match continues head-on as their team faces Kaiju High. Things get brutal as both sides push themselves to the edge. Kaiju's passing speeds up to lightning pace, too fast to react, but Uhirano displays insane skill, slicing through defenders so smoothly that even Miyuki seems like a beginner beside him. He pulls off a no-look pass that shocks everyone, even his own teammate Ace, who barely manages to grab it. From the bench, Jean watches cluelessly while Yumino patiently explains rugby positions to him. Though it's clear Jean's brain isn't wired for this kind of strategy. Kaiju keeps control, eventually trapping Uhirano in their defense. Just when all seems lost, Uhirano fires off a sudden drop goal out of nowhere, stunning both the crowd and Kaiju's team. They regroup quickly, tightening their defense as both sides fight tooth and nail for possession. Victory feels close, but before they can seal it, the halftime whistle blows. Kaiju's bench mocks their opponents, but the seniors shut them down, demanding focus and discipline. Ibumi begs to play the second half, but Saizen stops him. No training, no play. Rugby's a team game, he says firmly, keeping the same lineup. As the second half begins, Kaiju changes tactics. Instead of outrunning them, they use brute force. Taira spreads the field wide, baiting the defenders to the edges and leaving the center wide open. Kaiju seizes the gap with ruthless precision. The defense collapses and they need a sub fast. Iwashimizu starts to panic under the pressure. Finally, Jean gets the call to go in, his heart pounding with excitement. He doesn't fully grasp the strategy, but he knows how to fight. The moment he steps in, Taira charges him like a raging bull. Jean braces and meets him head-on, holding for a few seconds before Taira's raw power drives him down. Frustrated yet fired up, Jean grips the dirt until he hears Sisson shouting encouragement, telling him not to give up. Next play, Jean tackles again. This time, he connects perfectly, knocking Taira backward as the crowd gasps. The momentum shifts. In the final moments, Kaiju pushes desperately for a last try, but the defense holds. Jean chases their number 10 all the way across the field, forcing him wide at a bad angle. The kick flies and misses. Game over. Though they lose by the slimmest margin yet, Jean sits on the ground feeling useless, until Seiken smiles and tells him his tackle on Taira gave them a real chance, and that matters more than the scoreboard. As Kaiju leaves the field, Jean yells after them with fierce determination, promising they'll win next time. Soon after, Seiken announces a 1-week training camp, vowing to turn their club into a powerhouse through brutal, hellish practice. At camp, everyone goes all in. The second years take time to coach the new players while Iwashu trains harder than ever, driven by Miyuki's words from their last game. Suddenly, a scruffy man appears on the field, barking orders like a pro coach. To everyone's shock, he is one, a national coach named Kamori Shingo, who came to help the school. Kamori wastes no time tearing into Saizen's poor training methods, warning that half the team will quit by summer if this keeps up. He bluntly tells Saizen that his rigidity and lack of teaching skill are the real issues. Furious but humbled, Saizen asks for guidance. Kamori agrees to demonstrate, pairing Seikaizen and Iwashu against two shorter players, Najin and Kamo. The pair scores first, but Iwashu quickly equalizes with brute strength. Kamori smirks, calling him lucky, and warns he won't be next time. He dismisses the team for a meal break, where they chat during home economics class. Everyone complains about Kamori's unbearable attitude, but Saizen insists they can learn from him and grow stronger. The next morning, they find Kamori already setting up poles and wires for grueling new drills. Training starts, and it's brutal. By the end, everyone's gasping for air. Kamori singles out the biggest players for extra weight work, telling them they must become the team's backbone. Later, he runs a full-contact scrum session, but tempers flare when Uharano loses patience and nearly starts a fight. Thankfully, cheerful Hachiji steps in, not with fists, but sharp words that calm everyone down and bring discipline back. As the sun sets, Hachiji, Yuji, and Sekizan spot Kamori preparing to leave and nervously ask what time practice starts tomorrow. Without turning, he simply replies, 5 o'clock. If you love this anime, drop a part 2 in the comments right now. The next part will absolutely blow your mind.